buenos días a todos. Parece que me toca a mí abrir este fórum. Mi nombre es Raúl García Brink, soy consejero de Desarrollo Económico, Energía e I+D+I del Cabildo. Y me toca a mí primero porque soy el anfitrión, por decirlo de alguna manera, porque tanto Infecar como la Sociedad de Promoción Económica, así como también el Consejo Insular de la Energía, pues están dentro de este recinto, que vamos a decirlo así, pues es de alguna manera pues el ámbito o parte del ámbito en el que se mueve y tiene competencias la consejería que coordino, ¿no? Y entonces, bueno, lo primero, por mi parte, también soy presidente de la Sociedad de Promoción Económica de Gran Canaria, que colabora en este primer foro de innovación social y organizaciones colaborativas de Gran Canaria. Y bueno, en primer lugar, decir que bueno, que estoy muy satisfecho y muy contento de que se haya celebrado, porque llevamos meses dándole vueltas a este asunto. Y bueno, esto es producto de una colaboración, ¿no?, entre la Consejería de Igualdad y de Participación, de Participa Gran Canaria, y la Sociedad de Promoción Económica, ¿no?, de Gran Canaria. Y quizás, bueno, me gustaría, pues, no voy a alargarme mucho, pero sí comentar que de las primeras cosas que hice, ¿no?, cuando tomé posesión, fue precisamente pedir que un técnico, todavía estamos en transición de un equipo de gobierno a otro, pero sí le pedía, solicité que un técnico de la Sociedad de Promoción Económica de Gran Canaria pues viajara a Tenerife, puesto que allí se estaba impartiendo un curso de Economía del Bien Común aplicado a entidades locales, y eso fue, creo que prácticamente de las primeras cosas que solicité o pedí, ¿no?, con un poco de, todavía como estás empezando ahí, bueno, pidiéndolo un poco hasta de por favor, vamos a hacerlo así, ¿no? Lleva, no sé si 3 días, 4 días, ¿no?, en el cargo, ¿no? Y bueno, sí decirles que bueno, el año, desde mi consejería, el año pasado, pues celebramos un programa de aceleración de economía social, donde unos 13 proyectos, si no me equivoco, de diferente tipo, pues fueron tutelados, tutorizados durante 5 meses, hasta que ya estuvieron suficientemente maduros, y algunos de ellos están ahora mismo ya pues funcionando, y que por supuesto el año que viene pensamos repetir esta experiencia. Este año celebramos un taller de economía circular aquí en la Sociedad de Promoción Económica de Gran Canaria, y también celebramos un taller de proyectos europeos para ONG y entidades sin ánimo de lucro, y precisamente hace pues menos de un mes alguno de los participantes en este curso pues tuvo la oportunidad de viajar a Bruselas, se montó un viaje para que pudieran ir allí también y pudiesen entrar en contacto con pues diferentes entidades o instituciones europeas relacionadas con sus respectivos ámbitos de actuación. De alguna manera lo que estábamos intentando en este caso pues es que facilitar pues el acceso, ¿no?, a estas ayudas europeas también pues a las ONGs, ¿no? Desde luego, yo por lo menos estoy convencido, ¿no?, de que la sociedad del futuro, o por lo menos la sociedad que estamos viendo emerger en estos momentos, tiene 3 patas fundamentales. Por un lado, tiene la pata de las energías renovables. Eso yo creo que lo tenemos todos claro. Algunos no lo tienen tan claro, pero bueno, por lo menos yo creo que los que estamos hoy aquí, pues seguramente lo tenemos. Energías renovables por un lado, por otro lado el Internet de las cosas. Vivimos en un mundo pues lleno de dispositivos que envían millones de datos, y que eso de alguna forma también está haciendo que la gente pues maneje la información y los datos de una manera completamente distinta. Y por otro lado también algo que está emergiendo ahora y que yo creo que está directamente relacionado también con el Internet de las cosas, y por supuesto también tiene sus implicaciones con las energías renovables, es la economía colaborativa, ¿no? Es la otra, vamos a decirlo así, la otra pata que está surgiendo ahora mismo, y que probablemente haga que en el futuro pues el capitalismo, tal y como lo conocemos ahora mismo, que yo creo, en mi opinión, no creo que vaya a desaparecer a corto plazo, pero sí es verdad que se va a ver forzado a convivir con otras formas, ¿no?, con otras maneras de hacer las cosas, y desde luego con otra forma de entender las relaciones económicas, ¿no? Hoy en día pues se habla, ¿no?, de que estamos en una sociedad de prosumidores, de una sociedad en la que bueno, pues los ciudadanos van a producir cosas y también las van a consumir. Lo vemos en el mundo de la música. Hace 30 años, si querías triunfar en el mundo de la música, pues tenías que estar en manos de una multinacional prácticamente, que era la que, bueno, dirigía una producción además muy costosa, con arreglos, etcétera, etcétera. Y hoy en día, pues prácticamente con un coste bajísimo, y si tiene algo de coste, pues te haces un crowdfunding. Dentro de tu propia casa te puedes grabar un disco y puedes hacer además a través de las redes que esa música pues pueda incluso arrasar y tener éxito, porque bueno, ya lo estamos viendo hoy, las dificultades que tienen incluso las multinacionales musicales para salir adelante, ¿no? Y yo creo que este es un buen ejemplo de hacia dónde camina la sociedad, ¿no? Una sociedad eso, de productores y consumidores que van a colaborar entre sí a través de una red, a través de Internet, ¿no? Yo creo que vamos hacia allá, ¿no? Y bueno, para eso, desde mi punto de vista, pues hace falta innovación social, porque la innovación tecnológica tiene que ir acompañada de innovación social. Y bueno, si queremos afrontar pues los grandes retos que tiene hoy en día pues la sociedad, como son pues la igualdad, la lucha contra el cambio climático, el desarrollo sostenible, pues no basta con el optimismo tecnológico, por eso, sino que hace falta también innovación social. Y bueno, yo pues en ese sentido pues estoy absolutamente convencido de que iniciativas como esta pues van a impulsar precisamente ese sector emergente, ¿no?, de la economía colaborativa en Gran Canaria. Y por mi parte, nada más, simplemente pues desear que sea todo un éxito este fórum y que podamos repetirlo en el futuro. Gracias.
Bueno, pues muy buenos días, bienvenidas y bienvenidos a este primer foro de innovación social y organizaciones colaborativas en Gran Canaria. Me voy a presentar igual que hizo Raúl, yo soy María Nebot, consejera de Igualdad y Participación Ciudadana, y bueno, nada más les voy a dar un breve saludo para que ustedes comiencen este fórum que sin duda va a ser sin duda muy rico por algo que, y muy importante creo yo también por algo que Raúl estaba comentando, ¿no? Porque con fórum como este tenemos la posibilidad de compartir estrategias, innovaciones, iniciativas que van a caminar conjuntamente con el sistema económico capitalista, pero que van a hacer efectivamente que ese modelo que tiene unos parámetros de funcionamiento muy anquilosados se pongan, digamos, empiecen a funcionar de una manera más actualizada, más colaborativa y también más justa, ¿no? En este sentido, pues yo lo que les quería comentar es que para la Consejería de Participación Ciudadana es imprescindible realizar políticas que contribuyan al fortalecimiento de la cultura democrática y el empoderamiento ciudadano. Y precisamente es en este marco donde queremos ocuparnos de trabajar herramientas que contribuyan a facilitar una cultura participativa y colaborativa en la esfera de la economía y la satisfacción de las necesidades sociales que aportan bienestar y calidad de vida. Por eso hemos querido abrir un espacio en nuestro programa a esas iniciativas y organizaciones de innovación social que experimentan localmente nuevas soluciones a partir de procesos colaborativos y abiertos. Estos procesos suponen, por un lado, el impulso de capacidades que fomentan la creatividad y ponen en juego la inteligencia colectiva de sus habitantes. Y por otro lado, el impulso a la participación activa de las instituciones, las empresas y la sociedad civil de Gran Canaria. Este primer fórum de innovación social y organizaciones colaborativas lo llevamos a cabo, y antes lo estaba diciendo el consejero, con la colaboración de la Sociedad de Promoción Económica de Gran Canaria, la SPEC, que es el instrumento que tiene este gobierno insular para promover el desarrollo económico y el emprendimiento que genere empleo y riqueza social. Esperamos que este espacio que abrimos hoy contribuya a poner en la agenda pública y de los gobiernos la relevancia que tiene la economía colaborativa para construir en Gran Canaria un tejido económico más colaborativo y participativo. Muchas gracias.
Hola, buenos días. Tengo el grandísimo honor que después de casi un día de viaje, después de la nieve, el viento, las cargas por el aeropuerto, ha llegado Davide, Fassi, que es miembro, bueno, que lo digas tú, que es mejor que de dónde pertenece.
Okay, I will do it in English. I'm associate professor in design at the design department in Politecnico di Milano in Italy, and member of DESIS network, that is the Design for Social Innovation and Sustainability network, that actually including 40 different labs around the world dealing with design for social innovation.
Nada, damos paso a su charla y espero que os guste. Gracias.
The title of my speech, that pretty much is around 45 minutes, is about actions in public space. That is mainly what I'm dealing with my research topic and didactic activities. As I was mentioning, I am a member of DESIS network. DESIS is a network that was established in 2008 by Professor Ezio Manzini, that nowadays is considered one of the founder of design for social innovation approach or discipline. It's a network that uses the co-design process and design thinking to enable people to make things happen. And it's a network based on university, which has design discipline inside. So I'm actually dealing with the Milan one. I've been spending the last 3 years in China, in Shanghai, in the DESIS lab there. And so I got these two mainly approach of dealing with social innovation, so the Western side and the Eastern one. I will go through 3 main steps in the presentation. I will try to frame what is social innovation, even if we are here, we pretty know what is it about, but how this social innovation is connected with design, and then how we deal as researcher in design for social innovation with the local communities together with other stakeholders. And at the end, I will try to sum up what are possible impact, legacy, failure, because not it's not everything a success always, and the success when they happen. When we're talking about social innovation, we are dealing with something that is connected with society, and it's something that is very different from social design. Design for social innovation, it's something that enables people to make things happen, taking into account the technological innovation and business modeling, taking even into account the new social forms and the new economic and emerging economic model that are changing nowadays the society. When we talk about social design, we are considering social as helping the poor people. So it's another thing, or helping those people who have not the capabilities and the skills to solve the problems themselves. So we are dealing with design for social innovation. And since, according to our EU description in 2013, most of the social innovations are dealing with service innovation. So they are services that are put in place to improve the quality of life of people. So that's why we are merging the design process and the social innovation output together in order to co-produce social benefits and in order to improve the knowledge and the skills of different stakeholders. So what we are doing as designers in academic field, but even in the field research, is dealing with these service design methods and tools in order to help those people who are innovating somehow the society, helping them to start up a venture, or fostering the capacity of the society to be more innovative or more open to innovation. So the designer as a kind of activator of some processes and helping the people again to make the things happen. So it's a tool, in this case design, and not only a discipline, but it's a tool to empower people, to let them improve and implement solutions for their everyday life and to answer their needs. We are not talking about only individual interests, but every time as designer we are acting and we are helping this social innovation to be done, we are talking about systems. So as a collection of different elements interacting with themselves through some relationship. So as designer, we have to be able to understanding this connection, understanding which kind of relationship are among the stakeholders and make them successful. So we are not talking again a unique stakeholder system, but a multi-stakeholder systems in which there are different kind of actors that could be related to the public administration, to local association, informal groups, small medium companies, and all of them are, through service design, we can improve and we can again activate and make a network in order to test new models or new structures of collaboration. Well, stating that, what we did in the last, let's say, 10 years is trying to understand how this social innovation could take place into the public spaces, so into towns, cities, neighborhood, together with people. So how can we deal with social innovation and public spaces? So as part of this research team, we used to work a lot with citizens in form of associations or again in form of informal groups through participatory action research, meaning not to be academic in the university, in a class, talking with students only, but put the students and put ourselves in real context, working with people outside the university, make action in the field, and try to give from one side new skills to the students, but from other side to give possibilities to those people around the city to try to make the projects happen. So basically, I'm just telling about my experience, that is working with, as a researcher, with students and citizens, where citizens are again informal group association, or what it's called in service design, local heroes, or better, those people who are acting in the cities as activators themselves of some improvement. As a researcher, we used to work with our colleagues in design, in the design department, but we are inclusive, and we used to work with our colleague from architecture, management engineering, or other psychology, other discipline that could help us in make the things working. And students, most of the things that we are doing with spatial design students, meaning interior, environmental, outdoor design students, and service design students. Since 2004, there is a master class in product service system design that is dealing with design thinking and with social innovation. So citizens in this case are both beneficiaries and activists, and while researchers are activators of this network, and students, developers, and prototypers. So these are the three main roles that we're trying to put on place in order to design output of social innovation. So from one side we have university, and from the other side we have local communities. This is one of the possible models to act in the society is the one I'm into, and the one I'm trying to give you some example of the results. But for sure, there could be many. There could be many interaction with different stakeholders, many ways to act and to design social innovation in the contemporary society. So it's a kind of interactive model because it's based on interaction among these three main stakeholders to link the academic research that most of the time stays in the university and does not have the chance to go out and let the people interact with the results, and the local communities. We started from a very simple thing. We are in a campus that is in the city, but nobody around in the neighborhood knows what are we doing in the campus, what are as designers we are producing or as architects we are doing. So we started to work with the community, both to engage them and see what we are doing, and then to let them have the possibilities to collaborate and to design some output. So we used to use this participatory action research that is a way to involve practitioners and people to solve real problems in real context, together with researchers and students. So it's a kind of dealing with activism and collaboration. So let us see the city from a peoplescape perspective. So engaging people through grassroots initiatives, bottom-up initiatives, and trying to develop projects with these communities in order to let them be more resilient and to build social and environmental sustainability. So when we're talking about communities, according to Anna Meroni in 2007, she defined it communities as creative communities. So there are some communities that are creative themselves. So how can we do as designers to help them to make the things happen? They are producing social innovation, and maybe we as designers, we can improve this solution by exchanging our skills and capabilities and by activating and understanding the whole system and not only the one they are involved into. So, as I told before, social innovations are solutions based on new models of economy and socialities, and these innovations often deal with public spaces because these communities often act in the public space. So that's why we are dealing with that. And we are dealing with that taking into account design thinking and design methods, meaning to try to face social and public challenges, trying to get in touch with real problems, so to carry out problem solving. Most of the time, trying to prototype in a fast way some solution with the people in order to understand what are the scenarios in which these people could work. And creation at the end, a system and services. So it's pretty, I pretty know that you know what is design thinking, but in our case, this is the definition of Tim Brown, that is the CEO of IDEO, that is one of the most important design agencies in the world. And Tim Brown says that design thinking is a human center, or better, to me, it's community center. So it's not related only to one single person, but to a group of people that approach to innovation in order to understand what are the needs of the people, the possibilities of technology, contemporary technology, and the requirements for business success. It's pretty unique, this definition, because they are talking about design thinking, not for designer, but for those people who are not dealing with design, so companies, business, and so on. So, and it is very successful. I mean, they invented the D School in Stanford in US, and they are creating social innovation output throughout the world. So, design thinking is to trigger the user to action and to foster new forms of living. Again, to improve the identity sometimes to some communities, to to interlink people's needs, so to really understand what the people are needing, and not to act as superstar designer or superstar architects that top-down are creating solutions for everyone. No, vice versa, is to get in touch with the people, understanding with them and not for them, solution to be put on place. So when there are this active engagement of the people is what we call activism. So design activism is really to activate from some point of view some solution, but from the other side is to engage people to do things, to improve the urban experience that they can have, the quality of life that they are having every day. We are talking about a system of different situations. So every time we are acting in public spaces, to be more successful, meaning to create a system of actors working together. Even because the towns themselves, most of the time, are not done by one single center or one single neighborhoods, but it's done by different points, different elements that are creating the system. So at the same time, the involvement of students that are the future of the future designer, the future management engineering, the future architects, meaning to let them work in a real and in a professional realm, and to understand what is the real world, what does it mean to face with community needs. Throughout the experiences that we have in the last 10 years, I'm trying to give you some examples of this possible output that we did as design team, and to understand throughout these four keywords, that is legacy, exit strategy, success and failure, what are the possible output. Most of the time when we are talking about social innovation, it seems that we are talking about an ideal world where everyone is happy and everything is working just because you are dealing with people. It's not. Sometimes it happens that it doesn't work. Sometimes it happens that even the impact that you have for these actions is low. It is something to take into account. So we are in a moment after 10 years of activities in which there is a kind of proof of concept. So understanding really what are the results and what we can do with these results. So legacy, which impact do these design actions have in short, medium, and long term? Exit strategies, and this is a very important thing. So as designer or as activator, when we can go out from this process and why we have to go out from this process. Think about if we are activating something and we are staying in this something for a very long term, there is no life for the activators because they are continuously being involved in lots of projects. So the idea to enable people to things happen, meaning is to enable them to be self-sufficient even after to go on with the solution that they created with a group of researchers and practitioners. Success, when can we consider the output as a success and when as a failure? I will start with this project that is a very simple one. It is a community garden that we open in our campus in Politecnico for the people of the neighborhood and with them in 2011. This is what we call an ongoing success because we started to consider the universities has a hidden public space, since most of the universities are public institutions, meaning that the spaces in the universities are public themselves. And we involve in a co-design process 50 students, 4 researchers in 1-year project with 100 citizens in order to understand how to use the public space of the university for some output, for some reason, for some actions that could involve people to use these facilities, considering that campus is in a place without any green area, very suburban, but very rooted in the culture of the people who are living there. So we started after the co-design process that took, again, 1 year to understand with the people the layout of the space, the rules and the roles, the manifesto, the level of engagement, and so far and so on. We start building it. So we develop some tools with the students to some do-it-yourself toolkit to create these boxes to cultivate the vegetables. Those boxes were done by a local iron maker, I don't know the name in English, a local artisan that produced all of these pieces, so again activating local economies. And in 1 year, every single Saturday, we organize working session with the people, and we engage kind of 1,500 citizens in 1 year to build the garden itself, that nowadays is 100 garden bed, 1,000 square meters, a core group of 15 people that is frequently go there, but a landmark of the neighborhood because it's a place for community. What does it mean? It means that a public space that previously was just related to university staff, it's nowadays a place for people. And these people were engaged through the construction, the building of the garden, and implementing a sense of belongings to this place. It's self-managed by them, and there is a soft role by designers for maybe some communication issues or some basic things, but it's something that was activated and enabled people to go on by themselves. It's now rooted in the neighborhood habits, so people come across the boundary of the campus to get a coffee to the cafeteria, or to have a walk in the green spaces, or to work in the vegetable garden. So, ongoing success through action that was done temporary, but it was successful in the long term. This is a second example. It's called La Piana. La Piana is what we call a short-term success, but maybe a long-term failure. Again, it's a project developed in the Human Cities research program that is a EU-funded program, program, including nowadays 12 different cities around Europe, who are acting in the public spaces to reclaim the public spaces by the citizen. La Piana is a 10,000 square meters flat area just in front of a local theater in the south part of Milan. It's a public space, pretty much misbehaved. Lots of people are there drinking or getting drugs or very bad behavior there. But in the night, but during the day, it's an empty place with all of these spaces around, buildings, social housing around. So we got in contact with this local theater that at the same time is an association who is dealing with the social cohesion project in the neighborhood. And we develop a 1 year work with them in order to get in touch with all the associations that are active in the neighborhood, together again with a group of students, a researcher, and more than 200 citizens in co-design session. We did a co-briefing phase with most of the actors that are working there in order to understand how to activate that public space that is empty and not used, to let it become a more hospitable place with some activities inside. So we decided to make this process following the design thinking approach. So there was an inspiration phase where we, together with the students, went in the field, asking people, interviewing them, showing them possible example of solutions for this area, understanding what are their needs and what are their dreams about the places, and let them understand that the dreams are not just to have benches or garbage bin or a clean and better place, but could be even more than that. So trying to give them even examples of how to improve this public space. Then we went through an ideation phase. So we tried to let them be engaged in a more one-to-one process. So group of 5 researchers and students together with one association. In this case, it was an association of old ladies that were dealing with knitting. And we were trying to get in touch with them in order to understand what kind of solution could be done. And then an implementation phase. So after collecting the needs, developing the concept through the co-design process, we put these results into action. And we did a fast prototyping output, meaning through an event to be done in that space, put on stage the solution in order to let the people test the solution themselves with the developer of the solution. So it was in January, after 6 months work, in a very rainy day, and we put on place these 12 different solutions that were dealing with gaming in the public space, or recycling and reusing some leftovers of the theater, or getting in touch with local enterprises to let them be known by the other. I mean, lots of different ideas. Using the structure of the public spaces to transform them into something else, and so far and so on. We even go on with that in April during the Milan Design Week that hosted one of the meetings of the Human Cities project, and we, together with the local citizens, we built physically these big panels with the name of this place, because that place has no name, so it was not recognizable, in order to be put into on place. So, and at the end of the day, there was this big sign visible from the streets, recognizable by the people, and after a couple of years, it's still there. But what happened is that the theater itself was closed for renovation, without having any opportunities by now to understand if it will be there again. So long-term success, lots of people engaged, more than 2,200 citizens, lots of association, but not sure to use again that space with the theater in future. Another example is this one. It's called Campus. It was a research project funded by Politecnico to again open up the campus to the neighborhood. And the subtitle was Incubation and Settings for Social Practices. That was a short-term failure, but unexpectedly a long-term success. Again, was about urban agriculture. And the challenge was to deal with this community garden idea versus the individual allotments. You know that community garden, urban agriculture nowadays is dealing with community garden. Community garden is a way to cultivate all together and share the harvest at the end of the day. Individual allotments is me doing my things, myself, in my place. So there was an opportunity by the municipality, the city of Milan, to reuse a 5,000 square meters public areas, green areas, abandoned, and they gave it for free to a local association with the idea to transform it into a community garden. So this association asked us as a research team to help them to activate this garden, thanks to the successful of the garden that we opened in the campus. And we accepted this challenge. So That was the area. We did 6 co-design activities run with the local citizens. We engaged really a lot of people in practical things in the field, really in the field, practically in the field, and others in the classroom, more about ice-breaking or community engagement and to create the group. So there was a very active participation, lots of people. Think about there were more than 50 families that were interested in that. Very involving design activities. Again, we included some didactic activities, some courses to try to let the people work together and build that place. This was an example, for instance, on how to reuse plastic crates from local market leftovers to let them become a fence, a boundary of the garden. And so there was a workshop to let them work on this issue. High number of participants and very, very diverse, from the very, very old ladies to the young kids and families and students and so on. But at the end of the day, nobody embraced the idea of having a community garden because everyone wanted to have an individual one. So, a failure. So we engaged a lot, we did a lot of things with them, we tried to follow the rules of design thinking, but at the end of the day, yes, very good, we enjoyed a lot, but don't care. I mean, I would love to have my allotments and I would love to cultivate by myself, and no way to let them be cooperating with the other people. So we changed the strategy and we involved the local schools to take care of the community garden itself. So again, the idea is to let them have their own allotments, but at the same time let them show that the central part of this garden could be used by local students and schools to make some practices together with teachers, even in the for educational activities run by volunteers of the local community. And nowadays it's a place that is co-living with the single allotment. So we have 50 families doing their own business, and the schools involved in the cities, in the center of the place, running this vegetable garden. This is the last example, and this is an example of a non-design success. So a success of a project that is not really activated by designers, but was really grassroots initiatives, so bottom-up initiatives. This is the story of Nolo. Nolo is North Loreto. It's a social district in the Milanese context. A social district that is an enlarged way to have a social streets. A social street is a group of neighbors that are actively collaborating among them, starting from an online platform, basically most of the time through Facebook, but then doing a lot of things offline. In this case, Nolo, that is pretty much close to the city center, but it's considered somehow a suburban place just because there is a multi-ethnicity, it is a multi-ethnicity context. It's a neighborhood done by 25,000 people. 4,500 people out of these 25,000 belonging to this Facebook group, so to this social district online, knowing each other online, but then they are doing things offline. So they are doing things in the public spaces, they are sharing skills, they are trying to activate mutual aid. And the story started with these two people that are considered as local heroes because they started to open up this platform and engage people to get into and know each other. They started in February 2016 with kind of 100 people, and nowadays is 4,500 members. What they did at the very first time is to take a table, put the table in the street, and having breakfast on Saturday morning. Very simple action. People were passing by and they say, "What, they're crazy, what they're doing. They're having breakfast in the street." But it was so successful that in a minute it became a social weekly appointment for the neighborhood, where people were bringing food, sharing food, and knowing each other. It's not just a matter of we are having fun, we are cooking for the others. It's just the first step for a further collaboration, because they started to implement, to activate different kind of projects for the neighborhood. This was a meatball contest made in a misbehaved place where, again, people were going there to get drunk or to give drugs and so on, but they transformed that place in, they give the idea that that place could even be better through simple action. In the last 2 months, they create a local radio network in which people are collaborating and developing radio program to create community. They are actively collaborating with the immigrants hubs that we have in Milan, and we have many due to the immigration issue in Milan. And again, they are creating a network of mutual aid, meaning innovate the society somehow with the use of technology. So nowadays it is a local effective network with a complex system of relationships due to the high number of components of this system, and skills themselves. Most of the time, if you go through the Facebook page, it say, okay, is there any plumber here that could help me in fixing my water in my house? Or do you know the best wood maker in the neighborhood? I can go there and having my new drawers or so far and so on. So relationships and skills to make the actions in the neighborhood successful. And in just 1.5 years, they are trying slowly to change and improve the perception of the neighborhood that before was just a place where, oh my God, there are lots of ethnicity there, bad places, lots of problems, people are getting drunk and whatever. And nowadays, it's a place in which you can go there and you see there are new forms of collaboration and living. So I would love to conclude this speech by trying to emerge what could be the impact and what are the conclusion, what are the goals for these social innovation projects in the public spaces with local communities. The first one, and to me it's very important, is the increase of awareness about the people. So it's to try to maybe not only change, but to improve the people's behavior towards specific context. And it happened just because you show them, with them, how a place could be different. So it's to increase it's to show them the potentialities that are coming from their ideas, but maybe they need something to make it visible. And so in this case, the designer could activate this solution through fast prototyping, to developing concept, and so far and so on. But is the awareness of being in a place that could be changed. The second one is the second impact is this kind of project usually activate new synergies, meaning that if you give the possibility and the chance to people to get in touch with them, and you are able to manage this system of actors or system of stakeholders, this will lead to activating new collaboration, new synergies. It happens even for us. We started 10 years ago with local association, and after working with them with very small projects, nowadays those associations are the ones that are answering to public calls, European funding, with us together, because we know what they are doing, they know what we are doing, and together we can do better things. The third one is that we, as designer or as researcher, we are we are passing through being product creators to process creators. So we are not really no more only dealing with the final product. So single object, we can touch it, the chairs, the table, whatever, you can sit down. No, it's not just that. We are dealing with the process, and the process itself, and as I showed before, when it is including the in the field immersion, the way in which you are engaging people, the way in which you are co-designing with them, and not only co-designing but even co-producing and co-creating, meaning that you are innovating the process and not only the product. Then in these projects, most of the time, there is a wider and diverse public. So it's not just a matter of involving specific sector or specific professionals and specific people, but is to work with a large number of stakeholders. Meaning that usually we're working with implementers, with supporters, with participants that are belonging again to public administration, local enterprises, start-uppers, cities, normal citizens, informal group, researcher, academics. So this wider and diverse public is a richness. Is a richness because allows us to improve the quality of the results and to take into account more and more needs in order to be more inclusive. Then, understanding by the people, one of the effects is the understanding by the people of the new opportunities offered by the public spaces. This is more connected to the first slide I showed you. I mean, sometimes people, just because sometimes people are not aware of how a place could be changed, just because they're passing by and say, wow, yes, it's not good, and that's it. No, I mean, to envision, the power of envisioning, to give the chance to see the things from another point of view, again, it's a richness, because you are just planting a seed in a brain of a person, and this seed could create, again, results and results afterwards. And last is the use, sometimes the use of temporary solution to create scenarios for long-term use. Every time we are doing fast prototyping at the end of a research project or of a design studio or whatever, a fast prototyping is a way to set up roughly with the material and the time and the resources that you have available in that moment, but set up the solutions, and the solution could be services plus spaces, services plus product or whatever, to let the people test this solution and understanding if this solution could have a long-term life, so could be transformed into long-term solution. So the use of temporariness as a mean of creating scenarios to let the people understand how these things could be done in future. And that's it. Thank you.